guys, welcome to today's video, guys. I am Jack with My Girl Budgeting, and on today's video, guys, we are doing episode 3 of our Budgeting 101. This is a series of episodes that I am doing each weekend, basically to give you some guidance, hopefully give you some tips, and maybe get you on that start if you haven't of budgeting your life and finding that financial freedom that a lot of us in the budgeting community are finding more and more. It is, of course, practice makes perfect. You got to start it in order to be able to get to that threshold of hitting that financial freedom. And so today's video, we are going to tag into the whys, guys. Yes. So right now, I'll give you a little recap of everything that we did in the first 2 episodes. It's just going to be a quick rundown. First episode, we tackled the fear of money. Getting away from that fear, being able to tackle your money, have a relationship with your money, build a relationship with that money, and then also gain confidence within that relationship. And so it's just step-by-step process, guys, of learning to understand money. Most of us, especially me being over 40, I was never taught, the finance side of money. It was always work to pay bills, work to live, work to not, struggle. But also it's just gaining freedom, being able to, I work hard for my money. I have to pay my bills, of course, but also having that freedom to be able to live free from debt, live happy, and not have that fear of money, right? So that was basically capturing, episode 1. A recap, and then we go into episode 2 of our budgeting 101, and that was basically giving you a rundown of the zero-based budgeting, because I am zero-based budgeting. That is the way I go. That is how I roll with the punches of budgeting, and it works for me. Not does it always work for a lot of people, but you have to give it a try. And what I said in that episode 2 was try it for 3 months. First month is going to give you the errors. You're going to see where you made mistakes. Those are the things that you figure out. It doesn't have to be perfect within that first month. Second month, you start weeding out those errors. Okay, that didn't work, so let's try this. By the 3rd month, you should have a proper, agenda, proper, guideline as far as where you want to take your budgeting. Okay, and everybody is different, guys. Not one of us is gonna have the same money, same outcome, same goals in place, same, debts out there. We're all different. We all have a different, plan of action to be able to get those, tackle those things that we need to be able to get out of debt and live free from financial burden. Okay, so now we jump into the 3rd episode, guys, and that 3rd is the whys. Why start? Why begin? Why do you want to take this journey? Me, at the age of over 40 years old, I started budgeting. Okay, I started mid last year maybe, and I had been watching YouTubers while budgeting, but I never really took a leap and started doing budgeting. I was like, oh, okay, maybe it'll work, whatever. And I did it. I took that leap. I tried it, I applied it, and I've stayed focused on it, and I was able to maintain it. And that's what my goal is, to continue to maintain it And that way I can get to that point of freedom, right? So this is where I'm going to list out a few whys. Hopefully it gets you, you know, some inspiration, maybe insight into, okay, what are my whys? Everybody has why. Why do we start something that we do, and what at the end of it is the goal? Okay, what is your common denominator at the end of any kind of venture that you take on? And this is a venture that you want to take on because you want to be able to get to that point of living free from debt and living a life without, you know, stress financially. Okay, I stressed a lot. I mean, I'm still learning here, you know, things not to do, what, you know, and yes, I will have fallbacks, because sometimes it's like you want to give up, and there's those times that you want to just not partake in it, and then you think about it and you're like, man, when I was doing it, staying on top of it, staying on task with it, I was not having so much stress about it. And then when you do the fallbacks, and you have those fallbacks, and you have those moments where you're like, is it worth it? That's where stress starts kicking in. And so that's just from my experience, guys. And I mean, everybody is different. Like I said, everybody is on their different path, and it's just a matter of taking those steps. And so for whys, guys, we want to go through, and I'm gonna give you 10 reasons why. Okay, and these steps, I'll list them out, that way you guys can understand, you know, you use them for yourself, because I want to go into the whys before we start the process of savings, because eventually we are going to get into the savings part, and that's where the fun begins, in my, you know, but this will give you some insight into why we do what we do. Why do you see so many different budgeters doing the things that they do? Because they have a goal in mind. They follow the tasks that they have to be able to reach those goals, and then they attack each of those tasks so that they know that they're going to get to that goal that they have in mind. And that's the only way it's gonna be. You know, you have to have a plan of attack to be able to get to the common goal of having that freedom. Okay, so for first, let's go ahead and the whys. Okay, let's go ahead and start at this point. I'm going to give you guys your homework for this, and it is going to say, for that homework, what is your why? Okay, anytime you start a business, anytime you start a job, you go and do, you know, hobbies, you do everything, all these different things that you do, you always have a question of what is your why. So that is your goal in this episode, guys, is to find your why. Okay, find your why and put it in place, and start learning how to take those steps to answer your why. Okay, so we're going to say, what is your why? Find your why. Hopefully at the end of this episode, guys, you will write each of these 10 items that I'm going to go through, and at the end, I hope this will give you insight onto finding your why and answering that question, and then you can start setting goals around that. Okay, so for number 1, we're going to go ahead and tackle first. Number 1 is financial control, guys. We want financial control. We don't want our money running us. We want to be able to run our money. Okay, so as it goes, it provides a clear picture of your finances, helping you understand where your money is going and where you might need to cut back. This control enables you to make informed decisions about spending and saving. So it's financial control, guys. Just, you need to understand where your money is going and where you might need to cut back, okay? And that's what that is what the biggest thing I can say is to do is, like, when you do your bank statements and you go through those list of categories, as you can see, bank statements, you go through each category and you determine where you can cut back. Of course, we have bills, but how many of those bills do we really need? Do we need 10 subscriptions to all the different streaming devices just to be able to watch? And I get it, I have them too, but I used to have probably 4. I had my cable with DirecTV, I had my Prime, I had my Netflix, I had HBO Max, I had all of these different subscriptions for within the bills that I had to pay. But then I was like, okay, really, how much TV do I really watch that I can cut those back? And there's still more I'm going to cut back. I'm really considering cutting off, Disney Plus. It is, I don't even watch it hardly often, Disney Plus, and I pay for the yearly fee. And if I'm not watching it probably 90% of the time, why am I paying so much money to have it on a yearly basis? And I've really cut back on watching Disney Plus. I love Disney Plus. I love Disney. But do I watch it enough to justify how much I spend? Okay? So, gaining that financial control, looking at what you're spending, looking at the things that are drafted out of your account will help you start giving some insight into where you can cut back. Okay? And that will in of itself will start giving you relief from that stress. Okay, we don't have to have 20 different streaming device subscriptions to be able to watch TV. Excuse me, guys. And so just start looking at that. Use your bank statements to look at that and see where you can cut those back. Okay, so number 2 is goal achievement, guys. It is a goal achievement that you want to have. By setting aside specific amounts for various goals, whether it's saving for a vacation, buying a house, or retirement, budgeting helps you stay on track and reach your financial objectives. Okay? That is my my plan. I want to be able to take a nice vacation and not have to think about whether I'm using a credit card or, how much I'm going to be using on my debit card. Mind you, if I am able to, then I'm going to, but I want to be able to save for that without having the burden of using my card or just putting myself more in debt because I'm using a credit card. If I can save $5,000 to go on a vacation for myself, then I'm going to try my best to do that and get those goals in place. Set those goals. If you want a new home, if you want a new car, a new car is at the least the thing that you should think about last after you pay off debt. I get, because that is Dave Ramsey's thing, and I get that. But if you save toward whatever you want to use, then that is a goal you want to set for yourself. Okay. All right. So number 3 is debt management. Okay. So debt management. So for debt management, it's a budget allows you to allocate funds towards paying off debts more efficiently, reducing interest payments, and helping you become debt-free faster. Okay. My gosh, it's kind of like windy here, so I feel like dust is floating in the air. So excuse me for all the. But yeah, guys. So a budget allows you to allocate funds towards paying off debt more efficiently, okay? And reducing your interest. When you start doing that snowball effect, if you go through Dave Ramsey's baby steps and you start the no snowball effect, I mean, you're going to tackle, of course, your smallest or your biggest to your smallest, right? Or however you plan to do it. It's entirely up to you. What works best for you is how you should do it, okay? But once you start tackling those debts, and when you can pay off one of those debts, a credit card, I'm telling you, I have 3 credit cards that I'm trying to pay off right now. And, you know, it's nice to know that I'm cutting down those each time I make a payment. And whenever I hopefully get one closed off soon, I'll be able to use those extra funds toward the next debt that I need to pay off. So that's the snowball effect, is whatever money you were paying. I have 3. If I cut down 1, then I have 2. That one that I was paying toward will go into those other 2 to pay off, okay? And that's how you play that. So that is part of the debt management. And then now we're going into 4. Number 4 is emergency preparedness. By incorporating savings into your budget, you can build an emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses, thereby reducing stress and preventing financial setbacks. Have that emergency fund, guys. Have it ready. You know, once you have that, I mean, we don't know what to when the unknown is going to happen. You know, that's what an emergency is. It's the unknown. You never know when it's going to happen. And then whenever you're struggling to shift, you know, your budget, shift payments to bills or so on because of an emergency, that's whenever your stress level goes up, because, oh my gosh, do I pay for this major hospital thing that happened because of an emergency? And this is just a scenario. Do I pay for this emergency? Of course, you have to pay for your medicine. You have to pay for, you know, whatever it's going to cost to make sure you're better for yourself. Or on the opposite end, you go and pull the money that you needed for your mortgage or your rent because you didn't have an emergency plan of attack. Okay? So get that emergency fund and have that ready for the unknown. Okay? Don't ever touch it. You know, emergencies should be for what it is, an emergency. Not just because, oh, well, so-and-so invited me to go, let's go hang out, and, oh, that's not an emergency. We don't need to spend money for that. That's why you have other sinking funds to be able to play those things. You get an entertainment or hanging out with friends kind of sinking fund. But to have an emergency, it is supposed to be for what it's called, an emergency. Okay, the unknown. All right, so number 5. Number 5, I think, is a big one. Well, they're all big, but this starts being the eye opener for you guys, and that's spending awareness. Big time. Because tracking expenditures through a budget can reveal spending habits and areas where you may be overspending, allowing you to adjust and prioritize essential expenses over discretionary ones. Okay? Spending awareness. It's gonna be very eye-opening whenever you realize how much you were spending on eating out when you could have been applying it to a debt. Do the meal plan. Meal plan is effective, it's cost efficient, and it's, in my opinion, a lot better for you, because you know what you're putting in your body when you're actually meal planning for yourself and putting those things in, rather than having those processed foods. Mind you, I love my cheese puffs, and you know, I put those in my budget but you know, it just, when you can eat meals that you make, you're gonna eat them from the heart, and that's gonna give you a better feeling than going and spending $50 on a meal for 3 people at a fast food restaurant. I mean, come on. I remember when it was so probably $12-15 for me to feed me and my kids, because I would get them like little burrito packs and whatnot and stuff. Of course, we're all grown, but I mean, it's just spending awareness is going to give you very eye-opening into what you've been using your money toward, and that is what you need to be able to see you to cut back that fear. Okay, because I remember, oh my gosh, I still remember, I would just pull out my debit card. Okay, if I go into overdraft, that's okay. But I want to buy this so-and-so, whatever. I may not need it, but I'm going to buy it. And no. Now, if I look at my debit card and I go through like my bank history of it, and I'm just like, my bank card is not ever used. Even to get at restaurants, guys, even to eat at restaurants now, even to do anything, when you use that debit card now, they add what, additional fees? They add freaking surcharges. I mean, most places now are charging 3% fee to be able to use your debit card. So on top of what you're spending, even to eat out, you're paying a surcharge, plus you're paying a freaking debit card fee or a credit card fee, because the establishment doesn't want to be charged for using the card. So they tack that money onto everybody's receipt now. And so that's more money that you're throwing away, because now that's just the way that things are being handled now. I mean, like, we use our cards so often that now they get to add all these additional fees, and I refuse to do it. So just to be aware of that, guys. All right, now we're going into number 6. We are over that halfway mark, guys. So of financial discipline, guys. We are at financial discipline. Okay. Regular budgeting encourages discipline by helping you resist impulse purchases and focus on long-term financial stability rather than short-term gratification. That's like probably statement of this whole thing, guys, is that you have long-term financial stability versus short-term gratification. Because that's all we do. When we do impulse buying, we're only giving ourselves satisfaction for that minute because we're spending money. And that's only short term. Because then we move on to the next thing that we want to, that's going to feed that hunger. Right? But if you set those goals and for the long term, then you are going to resist those impulse buying. I mean, I can go to the store, and I can go and pull crazy money out of each of my binders if I wanted to go spend, if I was so tempted to do it. But when I put my money in my binder, I don't even think about the money, because you know what I think about in that? I think, okay, I'm not done with that savings. I still have, to meet the completion of it, right? And so I never think about what I have in my binders. And so that will help you build that discipline. I never thought it would work when I first started. I was like, really, I'm gonna put this money in these envelopes, and I'm like, I'm not gonna ever touch it. I'm really not gonna touch it. And I did it. And I set goals on each of those envelopes, and I don't touch them. I did not touch them until I completed them. And then I moved them into sinking funds. And that's how I play my savings, is I play my savings, and then I move them into sinking funds. Because those are goals. Okay? So it starts that process of giving you that financial discipline once you start that, okay? After you start having that discipline, you go into number 7, which is peace of mind, guys. This is where you have peace of mind, okay? You have all those whys, and it gives you so much peace of mind knowing that you have a plan for your money, can reduce financial anxiety and provide peace of mind, allowing you to focus on other important aspects of life. Because what is the common stress here, guys? Money is a common stress, and it shouldn't be. We should all be able to enjoy the money that we work so hard for, right? And by budgeting, you start feeling that relief. It starts giving you a peace of mind because you're doing it for the better good, for yourself, for your family. Being able to, like if mind you, if ever my kids ever needed anything that they needed it, I would not hesitate to go get what I need for them. Never would I ever hesitate. But I know because I can have that money to be able to aside that I can do that. Otherwise, I'm going to go tap into my mortgage. I'm going to tap into my car payment. I'm going to tap into whatever money I'm tapping into. And whenever you start budgeting and answering your whys, that is where you get peace of mind. Okay? That's an awesome feeling, and it is so much better. I feel so much better. I stressed so much about money. Like, I was always tense in my neck because it was just like, oh my gosh, like, do I have to pay this? I can't even afford it. And I don't have that tension anymore because of money. Okay? And once you get into these last parts of these 10 categories, 10 topics, it starts at the top of where you need to start. The tornado, I want to say the tornado effect. It starts at the top where it's chaos. Everything is more moving, erratic, because it's so much bigger, right? At the tornado aspect of it, right? Everything is just so chaotic. Then you get into the middle of it and it starts winding down. And then you get to the bottom, and that's where it's more sturdy, it's a steady little, peak right there at the bottom, right? But it has more control. You have it. That's where the control is. That's where, that's where it sways at the top, right? And then, at the bottom is the thing that controls it. And that's where you have that peace of mind. Then you build better communication. You have that better communication. For households, budgeting facilitates better communication about money matters, ensuring that everyone is on the same page regarding financial priorities and responsibilities. You start understanding your money. You understand where your money is and where it's going, and you are able to communicate better about your money. Because, I remember what it was like. The stats were a lot of reasons for divorce is financial reasons, right? Money problems causes a lot of divorce because those two people were not making a connection about money. One may have wanted to talk about money and to try to fix things, their debt, try to fix, how they were handling money, whereas the other person wasn't connecting that well. But if you all get on board, you all see progress with it, you do the 3 months to start that budgeting, and like most people, they start off like, oh, I'm not on the bandwagon with you, I'm not there. But then they see which progress you've done within those 3 months. That's whenever, okay, now And I wish it wasn't that way, but, you know, everybody's a skeptic, right? Right? So it's like, I mean, and I will say, I mean, I was very skeptical about, you know, budgeting from the get-go when I first started. I didn't understand it, but as I learned it, as I began to get to that connection. Okay, guys, yeah, so we were back at better communication. So where we left off, let's go ahead and jump into number 9, guys. And for number 9, we have increased savings. Okay, so that's whenever everything, the tornado is starting to slow down. We are losing, you know, the whole aspect of a, you know, tornado is to wind down, right? And so we have increased savings once we get over those thresholds. And a well-planned budget can help increase your savings over time by identifying and redirecting excess spending towards savings goals. Okay? I mean, that is what savings does. It helps you hit those goals that you want. You set those goals, you give yourself that time to build up to those goals, because you can't do it overnight, and don't expect to. And, you know, yeah, if you're able to give more than at a certain specific, you know, times throughout the year, then do it. But it's always best to start small. Don't overwhelm yourself with it, and just keep at it. Do videos if that helps you guys. I mean, it helps me. It really helps me to do videos because I'm holding myself accountable. I mean, I'm dedicated to doing my videos so that I stay on track to get to the goal that I have in place for myself. Okay, so that's one thing that you will start seeing in doing savings and budgeting yourself. You are going to build that savings more and more. You're going to find, you know, different aspects of savings that will help you, whether it's going to a high yield savings account and building interest, or whether it's going to start the CD ladder, you know, and whether you choose to do, you know, a long-term CD or even do a month-to-month CD. You know, at least if you're adding money. And eventually I do want to learn how to do a CD. I'm not there yet, but I'm doing high yield savings accounts, and that's building interest, and that's money that I'm saving, but I'm adding interest on top of that. So I do have my high yield savings account, and that is giving me my increased savings, and it will for you. And the binders help. You're getting savings in that, and you're building interest and building those up. So now we come to the final one, guys, for number 10. It's not least importance, but it is the last one. And so that is for future planning. Budgeting aids in planning for future life events like children's education, weddings, or starting a business, ensuring that you are financially prepared for these milestones. It's going to give you those milestones to be able to achieve without stressing about money, guys. Future planning is going to allow you to hit those milestones without the stress of going into more debt. So start that process, guys. I mean, it takes baby steps, but when you start those baby steps, you can start taking leaps and leaps toward financial freedom. And that's what I hope you gain from this. I mean, I hope it really helps me to look at this and start setting myself up for my whys. I have my why I do what I do. I want to be able to leave something for my children and my grandchildren, and be able to show them, for first and foremost, is to show them that to save money, it is so much better than to go try to get yourself financed for something. And that's what I want my kids to take from what I'm doing, is leaving that legacy, guys. Because I struggled for the first 40 years of my life with money. Because I was not taught it. I didn't understand it. I didn't have a relationship with money. I detested money. Money caused a lot of problems for me. But now, as I'm old into my 40s, I'm not old. I'm not. I take that back. I'm not. But as I am in my 40s now, and I'm starting to have a relationship with money and have that confidence with money, being able to understand my finances, this has really helped me, guide me into, getting out of debt. And I hope it helps you guys. I really do. But with that being said, guys, I hope this gives you your whys. And it doesn't have to be just one, guys. List yourself out 3 different whys. Why do you want to start budgeting? What is the goal on why you want to start? Answer those questions for yourself. Get your whys, because that's going to be the driving force that gets you to start budgeting. Okay? Why do I want to budget? Why do I want to get out of... Well, because for one, I want to get out of debt. I don't want to have debt. I don't ever want to depend on a credit card. I want to be able to pay from cash directly to those things that I want in life. And get rid of my debt. Debt is number 1. Why I want to budget, why I started budgeting, is to get out of debt and live financial freedom. Have that financial freedom. Okay? So that is your homework, guys, for this. I hope you guys, and don't forget, leave a comment, guys. Give me your why. Why? Let's see if it changes in time. Okay? Let's do that. Leave a comment of what your why is. Why do you want to start budgeting? Why do you budget? Leave that comment. And in time, come back to this video and say in 3 months, especially if you're like new to budgeting and you haven't started and you are still trying to figure out if you want to, answer that comment. Put that in the comments, guys. Sorry. Put that in the comments of why you want to start budgeting. And start that process of follow each of those episodes that I'm at 1, 2, and 3. And then when you get to that 3rd month, come back to this video and look at what you put as your why and see if it's still the same reason why you are budgeting, or why you haven't started budgeting, or why you still are playing around with it. Okay? And I want to see if it changes for you guys. That would be awesome to be able to see, guys. Even if you come back in 3 months time and look at the why in the comments of why I started, why I'm not starting budgeting, why I refuse to do it. Wherever you are in the budgeting, give your why. And in 3 months time, I want to be able to look at for you to look at it and see if you've even started that process. Maybe you're in month 2 in 3 months. Maybe you're in month 1 of budgeting. But come back and give us an update of where you at with your why. And then see if you start understanding it better because you started the process. So I hope this helps, guys. I hope that I didn't go on a soapbox too much with all of this. But and of course, we have interrupting Cat in the broadcast today because she has to always make her presence be known. Hi, Nova. Nova. Hi, mamas. Hi, pretty girl. She has to be known, guys. My interrupting cat. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to leave your why of why you're at where you're at with budgeting. Okay? Let's go ahead and use that hashtag tornado for today's video, guys. Lets me know you guys watched up to this point. I hope you enjoyed this video. Enjoy your weekend, guys. And I will see you in the next video. Much love. And bye, guys.